Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the EdUHK Award Winning Innovations Salon 2020. I'm Clarice Ho, a second-year student majoring in Language Studies and Education English Language. I'm very glad to be the host of today's webinar. The Award Winning Innovations Salon is an annual event organized by Knowledge Transfer Sub-Office of the Education University of Hong Kong, with the aim to celebrate the accomplishments of the university's research. This year, a lineup of 11 award-winning innovations will be introduced through this program. Centered around the theme Innovate Cohesive Community, the salon will feature a series of online activities. This webinar session will be broadcasting 3 insightful panel discussions. The discussions will dive into topics such as development and impacts of technology on daily life and how the application of EdUHK research can be beneficial to the community. A virtual exhibition will also be launched officially in this afternoon. For those who are interested in learning more about the projects and have a chat with our scholars, be sure to visit the event website after this webinar. Please also join the afternoon webinar section where we will be covering topics of collaboration opportunities with EdUHK. Before we introduce the award-winning projects, we are delighted to have the Vice President, Research and Development of the Education University of Hong Kong, Professor Tai-lok, to give us a welcome message. Professor Lui, please.
Distinguished guests, colleagues, and participants of this webinar, a very good morning. On behalf of the Education University of Hong Kong, I welcome you all to this award-winning Innovations Salon. Unlike what we did in previous years, that we have our salon held in a more cozy environment, in a physical setting, this year our salon, of course, would be held virtually. But this would not stop us from exchanging ideas and having feedback from you. The more importantly is to do the networking so that we will share ideas about the latest development of technology and knowledge transfer. I'm sure that every one of us here would feel the impact of the pandemic on us. It poses very serious challenge to our everyday life, but at the same time, as researchers, as academics, as leaders in the community, we all understand that we need to respond and to cope with the challenge. And exactly for this reason, I think innovation as well as knowledge transfer continues to play a big part in our life so that we will be able to cope with crises and turn them into new opportunities for innovation and major breakthroughs. The Award-Winning Innovations Salon is a jubilant occasion to celebrate the success of EdUHK's research on various academic disciplines. Last year, our scholars and researchers reaped the reward of their hard work by taking home a total of 22 international Inventions Award. These award-winning projects covers a wide range of research areas, including education technology for schools, language learners, and SEN learners. We also have innovative projects on arts and culture and environmental technology. Not only do these projects demonstrate the university's academic diversity and capability, but they also reinforced EdUHK's leading role in developing innovative technologies that can foster education, social and technological growth in Hong Kong. Under the theme of Invent, Edu-novate Cohesive Community, the panel discussion to be held afterwards will discuss how EdUHK's innovations can be applied to different aspects of life and their impacts on the development of our community. Knowledge transfer has become EdUHK's major focus in recent years, and the university is committed to facilitate the flow of academic knowledge to a broader community. However, a successful transfer and implementation of knowledge requires a two-way flow of expertise between the university, the industry, the education, and community. This is when partnerships and collaboration become important. The salon is also about networking and connections. The virtual exhibition session in the afternoon is not merely a showcase of our project. It is also a platform for communication, a platform for ideas exchange and connection building between different sectors and the university. The event will stimulate great conversations and, optimistically, a development of strategic partnership with the industry. Congratulations to all our award-winning colleagues and your project and teams. And once again, thank you for joining this salon. I sincerely hope you will enjoy today's program and have an insightful, fruitful networking experience. And I would also like to take this opportunity to thank my colleagues in the Knowledge Transfer Sub-Office for all your hard work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Lui, for your enlightening address. Last year, EdUHK research achieved fruitful accomplishment from several international invention competitions. Without further ado, let's welcome our award winners. Firstly, let me introduce the awardees of the International Invention Innovation Competition in Canada 2020. The university has achieved amazing results from the competition, with 6 innovations winning a total of 16 awards. The award winners are Dr. Chris Zhang Yufei of the Department of Science and Environmental Studies, Dr. Kevin Yunji Pen of the Department of Special Education and Counseling. Both Dr. Zhang and Dr. Yun have won the grand prize, gold medal, and a special prize for their projects. Professor Yang Yao Yun of the Department of Science and Environmental Studies and Ms. Leila Liu Yan. Their project has received a gold medal and a special prize. Dr. Anna Kim Ji Shan of the Department of Special Education and Counseling, Dr. Kian Poon K. Yan of the Department of Special Education and Counseling. Dr. Kam and Dr. Poon both received the grand prize, silver medal, and special prize for the projects. Lastly, Dr. Song Yan Xie of the Department of Mathematics and Information Technology. Her project has won a silver medal and a special prize from the competition. May we now invite Professor Lui and Professor Stephen Chow, Jack Fai, the Director of Knowledge Transfer, to take a picture with the awardees. Professor Lui and Professor Chow, please. Congratulations to the project winners. Next, I will introduce the prize-winning scholars and their inventions from the International Innovation and Invention Competition Taiwan. It was the university's first time joining this competition, and our inventions have achieved remarkable results by winning 6 awards with 6 entries. And here comes the award winners. Professor Wu Chi-kang of the Department of Asian and Policy Studies, Dr. Hong Kang of the Department of Cultural and Creative Arts, Dr. Kevin Yunji Pen of the Department of Special Education and Counseling, Dr. Song Yanxi of the Department of Mathematics and Information Technology. Professor Wu, Dr. Hong, and Dr. Yun and Dr. Song all received the gold medals for their projects. Dr. Zhou Di of the Department of English Language Education, and Dr. Chris Zhang Yufei of the Department of Science and Environmental Studies. Dr. Zhou and Dr. Zhang have both received silver medal for their projects. May we now invite Professor Lui and Professor Chow to join us again on stage for the group photo. Professor Lui and Professor Chow, please. May we also invite the awardees of iCAN to come to the stage and take a group photo. Thank you, Professor Lui and Professor Chow. And once again, congratulations to all awardees. The panel discussion shall begin at once. There are 3 sections in total, with each section lasting for 45 minutes. These panels will be covering topics that are related to the event theme Invent, Edu-novate Cohesive Community. We are honored to have Mr. Frankie Lo, Chairman of the Hong Kong Research Center on Child Learning, to be our moderator for the first panel of the day. The topic for this session is Innovations Supporting Students with Special Educational Needs. Joining him are Dr. Anna Kam Ji Shan, Dr. Kian Poon K Yan, and Dr. Kevin Yun Ji Bun of the Department of Special Education and Counseling. I will now hand the floor over to Frankie. Frankie, please.
Good morning, everybody. Congratulations to all the award winners. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself and our organization. Frankie Lo, the chairman from the Hong Kong Research Center on Child Learning. Our organization started up in 2017 with an ITF project collaborating with the Hong Kong Polytechnic University and the City University of Hong Kong. The project name called SHARP, the Smart Handwriting Analysis and Recognition Platform. The system is the cloud-based platform applying the big data, digital ink, and deep learning technologies, which is a screening assessment tool for the primary students with the symptoms of dyslexia and handwriting difficulties. It can also detect other SEN symptoms like ADHD and fine motor skills. SHARP system has been awarded by ICT as the Smart Education Innovations in 2019. Now the SHARP system is used by several institutions, NGOs, and training organizations. And up to now, it has served over 4,000 students in Hong Kong. We're expanding its coverage to Macau and the mainland China, and we are expecting more and more students will benefit from the SHARP system to get further assessment, treatment, and training at the right timing. On top of that, We are also providing some other education tools as well as training programs for SEND students with handwriting difficulties. So now I would like to start the panel and hand over to our three panelists on today. Let's invite our first speaker, Dr. Anna Kem, please.
Hi, good morning. I'm Anna from the Department of Special Education and Counseling. I'll get my presentation ready, please. So this morning, I'm going to introduce to you an automatic children hearing and listening in noise ability screening system, which is specifically designed for preschoolers. The system consists of an iPad and a pair of noise-canceling headphones. There are two applications in the system, namely the automatic pure tone hearing screening test and the listening in noise ability test. In the pure tone hearing screening test, the child is instructed to tap on the screen of the device whenever a sound is being heard. 4 frequencies, including 500, 1000, 2000, and 4000 Hz, will be assessed. The pass level is set at 25 dBHL, and 2 out of 3 positive responses is considered as a pass at the test frequency. In the listening in noise test, 3 digits will be presented in a background of speech-shaped noise. The child is instructed to input the heard numbers in the correct sequence. The presentation level of the next set of digits will be determined automatically, depends on the previous response. Say, for example, the presentation level of the digits will be increased for a previous incorrect child and vice versa. And finally, we will obtain a signal-to-noise ratio for each year. Hearing screening service is provided by the government in 2 time points by the government. So the first one is provided for newborn babies before discharge in local hospitals. And the second service will be provided to primary 1 students by the student health service under the Department of Health. However, there is no hearing screening service in between. Unfortunately, we know that some children may suffer from permanent hearing loss with late onset or temporary hearing loss due to middle ear problems, which are quite common in childhood. And we know that undetected hearing loss may affect speech and language development. So if we have an accurate, reliable, and easy-to-use test system, we can make hearing screening possible and to detect any hearing loss during childhood. It is also worthwhile to check the listening in noise ability in children because it is related to auditory processing abilities as well as literacy abilities. In fact, in a recent research with 75 Chinese children with dyslexia, we found that 75% of them performed significantly poorer than children without dyslexia in speech in noise recognition. We think that listening in noise task may be used as a screening tool for early detection of dyslexia. And for future development, we may add more automatic tests for other auditory processing abilities or integrate follow-up training and intervention tasks for dyslexia. And that's all for my sharing.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Anna. So this is the time to invite our second speaker, Dr. Kian Poon, please.
Hi, my name is Kian, and I'm from the Department of Special Education and Counseling. May I have my PowerPoint ready? Thank you. Hi everyone. So I'm going to introduce my innovation. So it's on computerized working memory training for students with ADHD and or RD. So, all right. So the objective of the app is actually an app, computerized app that you could use on iPad. It's to enhance the literacy and phonological skills for students with ADHD and or reading difficulties. So it's for students with either pure ADHD, RD, or the mix of both, so the comorbid type. So we are focusing on how to train their working memory, but instead of just focusing on one working memory, we focus on the two core components of working memory. The first one is phonological one, which is the sound-related one. The second is the visual-spatial one, which is like the visual one. Well, why we think working memory is very important? So what is working memory? So working memory is a short-term information processing ability of the brain, and it's highly correlated with intelligence, language comprehension, vocabulary acquisition, and behavioral outcomes. So it's a very important component in the brain. And for a student with special need, they usually have a very limited working memory, and that affects a wide range of the daily life as well as learning. So that's why that's my intention to have something to train the working memory, because we've realized that working memory can be trained. So in the apps, there are two training regimes, which is connected by a storyline. We want to make it very interesting because we know that the motivation is a very core component in training, especially in computerized training. So the first one is an and-back game. The second is a card pairing game. So it's about how to recall different stimulus and in a different way. So, but instead of using regular stimulus, we use the linguistic one, which is a word-based one. So, and the difficulty level can be adjusted. So the game will change its difficulty level according to the response from the player. So here is the key features of this game. So it starts with simple digits. So they only have to memorize simple digits. And then it goes to high frequency words. So it got a little bit more difficult. And then the third stage would be synonyms, which is similar meanings but different sound, like look, see, view. And then in the fourth stage, we go to rhymes, so similar sound but with different meaning, all, ball, mall. And then morphemes, like a similar word but in different different shape or different use, like help, helpful, and unhelpful. In that case, we hope that when they have to memorize the word, they have to rely on either visual or the phonological sound, because when the word look alike, they have to rely on the sound. When the word sound alike, they have to rely on the meaning. So we have around 100 students joining, and well, actually the research outcome is quite satisfactory. So we have 5 sessions per week, 5 weeks, and 20 minutes per session, and the result is quite encouraging. So all training groups show an improvement in phonological and visual spatial after a 5-week period. So that's all for my presentation, and thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Kian. So let's invite the last speaker of this session, Dr. Kelvin Yun, please.
Thank you, Frankie. Good morning, everybody. I'm Kevin Yun, the same as Kian and Anna. I'm also coming from the Department of Special Education and Counseling, and also from the Integrated Center for Wellbeing. And I would like to thank the Knowledge Transfer Sub-Office for producing a very interesting video for my innovation, which is on a listening in noise test to assess the hearing difficulties in very young children who speaks Mandarin. So the test name is Mandarin Spoken Word Picture Identification Test Adaptive. Here comes the video. The Mandarin Spoken Word Picture Identification Test in Noise Adaptive, or MAPIT-A, was jointly developed by my team at the Education University of Hong Kong, Department of Special Education and Counseling, and the Integrated Center for Wellbeing, and also 2 collaborators in China, the Shanghai Acoustics Laboratory, and the Chinese People's Liberation Army General Hospital, Department of Otolaryngology, Head and Neck Surgery. The goal of MEPIT-A is to test very young children's speech recognition in noise. Our research results have proven that young children as young as 3 years of age could be reliably tested with a very short testing time of just 4 minutes. With such a short testing time for young children was not available before in the Chinese-speaking communities, and also very scarce internationally. MEPIT-A can be used clinically in hearing clinics, hospitals, and schools to investigate young children who have concerns in listening, especially under noisy environments. For example, parents and teachers noticed that their children had more communication breakdowns in noise than their peers, and are not attentive in classrooms which are usually full of noises. MEPIT-A is useful to identify children who are at risk for central auditory processing disorders, which is a subtle communication disorders where the neural pathway for listening is impaired. In addition, MEPIT-A can also be used to identify children with transient or permanent hearing impairments. That means children with structural or physiological damage in their outer, middle, or inner ear. Lastly, for those children with permanent hearing impairments who need to use hearing devices such as hearing aids and cochlear implants, MEPIT-A can also be used to investigate how they perform in comparison with their hearing peers. For example, those with normal hearing, and to offer evidence that if their current hearing device fitting parameters are offering the optimal benefits. When children are given more updated technology like noise reduction or other sound processing algorithms in their hearing aids and cochlear implants, MEPIT-A can also be used to evaluate if those new technology are really offering additional benefits, but not just mere marketing claims. Our research team has already published the results for the development of MEPIT-A last year at the prestigious journal, The Public Library of Science. At this moment, a number of major hospitals in Beijing and other cities in mainland China are using MEPIT-A to evaluate listening and noise performance in young children with hearing impairments. We hope to develop MEPIT-A from the current research prototype version into a clinical version with more user-friendly functions, including instructions on equipment setup, testing procedures, and results interpretation, and also automatic report generation, so as to attract more frontline hearing health professionals to use MEPIT-A. MEPIT-A is also used to investigate the within participant listening and noise benefits of young hearing impaired children wearing hearing aids and cochlear implants in their 2 years, which is the very first study for the Chinese-speaking community. The results will be published later in the coming year. In the future, we would also like to see MEPIT-A to be developed into other languages such as Cantonese, English, and Taiwanese for cross-language investigations on speech and noise performance in very young children.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Kevin.
Thank you.
So, yeah, now I'd like to have some follow-up questions to our panelists. So, first of all, Dr. Anna, yeah, I sincerely hope that this screening system could be a contributing factor for dyslexia students. My question is, when would you expect the system can be developed and adapted as part of children's healthcare examination routine? And what is your implementation plan?
Thank you for your question. We still have a long way to go, I have to say. In fact, the pure tone screening test has been validated. The earlier version has been validated in about 6,000 kids in Shanghai, in China. We have already done the validation. However, in this version, we have done some modification. We increase more reinforcers, we make it more attractive, and hopefully we can apply the test at an even younger age, say 3 years old, and increase the reliability and accuracy at this younger population. And for the listening in noise test, we just have the prototype. We don't have clinical data yet. And because of the pandemic situation, we have no chance to do any data collection in the moment. So in the meanwhile, I'm focused on enhancing the interface and the calculation algorithm, etc. And hopefully once the pandemic is under control, we will resume the data collection. And after validation, we will do a prevalence study in a large sample of subjects. And with the positive results, we can do some lobbying and inform the policymaker of this kind of implementation.
Okay, I see. Thank you, Dr. Anna. So my second question for Dr. Kian. Yeah, I personally love this training a lot, and I wish that our organization could be part of you in future.
Thank you.
And I'd like to ask, is the app readily available for public to use right now? And then would it be an app or for family use or a structured training?
Yeah, well, actually, it was put on the Apple Store a while ago.
Oh,
Yeah, but then
wow.
we are now revising it, upgrading it, because we want to do it on an English version. Well, actually, it's what's in the Chinese version with Chinese words. So now we're having an English version, hopefully to collect data in Western countries. So therefore, we have taken it down from the Apple Store right now. And the other thing that we want to enhance is, in the first phase, we collected data at school. So actually, we have a research assistant going to the school and collecting data. We're actually accompanying the student with SEN to go through the whole apps training. So make sure that they sit still, they know what's going on, because that's a 20 minutes everyday training. So in the current stage, what we are hoping to do is to enhance the self-monitoring feature. So which means that the student could take care of the whole training themselves without being too much assistant. So in that case, even during the pandemic period, they are still capable of receiving different trainings at home. So that's what I'm hoping to do now. So the answer is yes before, but not now. So hopefully after the updating, so it will put back to the Apple Store for free download. Yep.
Okay, thanks. Just one more follow-up question on this. I heard that you have been putting that on the App Store. Does it also support Android system?
Yeah, both Android and iPad. Yep.
Okay, that's great. Okay, thank you, Dr. Kian. And lastly, for Dr. Kevin, yeah, I have a specific question about how a MAPIT-A could serve our community, and would it be an education support system in schools, or as a community service, or a medical diagnosis tool?
Thank you for your question. I think the MAPIT-A system it's a very versatile system. The aim for using MAPIT-A is to see how well young children or are adapting to listening in noisy environments. So we've got enough data to understand the performance of children who are in the normal performance range from around 3 to 6 years old. So that means for some children who might have concerns from the parents or the teachers that they are not actually listening that well in noisy environments, particularly in schools or in classrooms or other situations where they are learning, we can actually use the tool to see whether they're actually performing under their peer performance level. I mean the normal peer performance level. If that's really the case, that means we probably have to search for interventions. For example, we may offer them active training in listening in noise. That means we will train them to segregate noises from the important speech signal. these are active intervention regimen. We can also think about reducing the surrounding noises by using, for example, simple public address system in the classroom, or even personal amplification system like the remote microphone system, or the older version, what we call FM system. So the aim is to see whether after using these regimens, the active intervention techniques or the environmental noise reduction techniques, whether these children can be performing on par with their peers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Kevin. Thanks for your answers. So thank you all of you. And apart from the questions specific to each speakers, I also like to ask a question, general question to all of you. Yeah, what is the biggest challenge in education support to send students at the moment? And do you have any suggestion for us to overcome this challenge? Maybe starting from Dr. Anna?
I think what we are doing is especially applicable during this situation, because all three of us are working on something can be available online, or apps with the use of tablet-based assessment, or training or treatment tools. So what we can do is to focus more and try our best to develop more user-friendly software for people to use.
Okay.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah.
For me, I think like, because the three of us are practitioners actually. So Kevin and Anna are speech therapists as well as audiologists. I am a psychologist. So I believe that we're in a very unique position to help to bridge the practicing and the research, the evidence-based research outcome, how to actually apply to daily lives. So I think that's one of the challenge, because there are a lot of intervention available, but you never know which one is good for who and where and why and how. So I think the challenge for the three of us is to really observe the need of the SEND students right now, and do a lot of research, read a lot of journals, and hope to bridge the two things together, you know, the real life and the research. So that's the thing for knowledge transfer, right? So that's what we are doing, right? So I think that in the future we have to keep doing something similar, and and I think that would be good for the population in general. Yeah.
Okay, I see. Okay, thank you. So how about Dr. Kevin?
So it's my turn. I was thinking the word engagement. In the past year or so, I think we have a lot of changes in delivering education, including how we assess children and also how we train children with special educational needs. I think the most challenging thing for all of us, frontline teachers, allied health professionals who work with children and also adolescents, especially the younger ones, for example, the preschoolers, is how we're going to engage them in online mode. So for example, whether we can actually assess them reliably, whether we can tap their potential in our assessments, and how we're going to engage them in training through online delivery. I think this is the bigger challenge that we are facing in the past 12 or 18 months, because we cannot actually interact face-to-face with these very young children. This is going to be a very big challenge for all of us, maybe also in the near future, before everything settled down in the pandemic. So I think the challenge for us may be, how can we develop more innovations to engage these very young children to participate in their assessment as well as in their training will be a big task for all of us supporting students with special educational needs. That's my short answer. Hopefully that's short enough.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Kevin. And I think that we still have some time, and I'd like to raise another question to all of you. So how did the pandemic affect and change the mode of learning of children with SEN? So maybe starting from Dr. Anna.
I think as Kevin mentioned before, in fact, everyone have to switch to online, even for our own university students. We also facing challenges in delivering lectures. We are also learning how to deliver lectures in online mode effectively. So I think with our experience gathered, we may share with our future students. I think as Kevin said, the online mode will not disappear after the pandemic. I think it will still be there and get more common, I would say. So I think we should equip our students on the knowledge, techniques, and skills to deliver lectures or classes effectively with the online mode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dr. Kian, please.
Yeah, I think that, well, actually, I'm currently doing some research on the pandemic situation with students with SENs. And what I'm doing is to evaluate what kind of challenges they are facing. And one of the things is the IT support that they have at home. So we're expecting the SEN student, especially those from low-income family, to have enough equipment and things and knowledge to support all the online learning. So that would be one challenge. The second challenge, it's on parents. So the parental stress. We are examining the parental stress right now, and it's super high. Because you may imagine that all the learning will go to home learning. So parents will have the responsibility to teach the homework, to do the revision and prepare for examination, those kind of things. So without the help from a teacher, and without the feedback from teachers. So that's a lot of struggles. So what I'm hoping is to look at the minority group first, like the low SEN, the low income group, as well as to support the parents. So not just thinking of what to give for the SEN student, but to look at the whole environment, like the family as a unit, to provide support to them. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Kian. So, Kevin.
Yes, my turn again.
Yeah.
I was thinking to recall what I just said in terms of how we are going to engage students with special educational needs in online learning mode. Hopefully, we can also involve all stakeholders, including the parents themselves, frontline teachers, and whoever who interacts with children with special educational needs in front of the computer to tell us more what they actually want to engage their students more. I think we are mainly focusing on engaging them through visual and also auditory information. So if future or existing technology permits, maybe we can also think about how we are going to involve these children in more senses. For example, using virtual reality to put them into a three-dimensional space to interact with the assessment and the treatment materials, to see whether we can offer them more tactile sensations through online learning. For example, if they're going to be trained on reading and also writing. So if these are the technologies that we can actually incorporate into the online learning mode, I think that would be fantastic for us to not only to save a lot of time and traveling effort, but can also survive through the need to continue doing partly, if not wholly, online training for these SCN students in the future.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Kevin. And talking about the online learning, as we have been facing with difficulties, a very hard time in the past 1.5 years regarding to the COVID-19. And the more time students study at home, and it's especially difficulties for those parents with SEN child. So do you have any suggestion to our parents on how to teach the SEN students at home, or do you have any ideas on how to replace the teaching in schools?
It's a tough question.
Yeah.
Frankly, I don't have any great ideas. I also have a niece who is studying at K3. So basically, she has no school for a year already. I think for parents, I'm not sure if self-help support group would help, because from my experience or from my observation, I think if the students, the children can get together, not in a school setting, and of course under safe social distancing criteria, if they can meet or share some learning activities together, it may alleviate the problem a little bit. So.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so my turn. I personally think that the communication between parents and school are super important. Like because I think like one of the downside, it's now the schools don't have a comprehensive picture on the progress of the student right now. So they are just guessing, just through the online, just through the camera, just through the homework, which they are not sure whether it's done by the student or by the family. But then they are just guessing about the progress and how much they learn. The student learn. So now they are just giving like a very standardized amount of homework and learning material to the students, because they don't know, instead of you can differentiate like the needs of the student, they are just giving like a standard amount and a standard expectation. So I think what we have to do is to encourage the parents and the teachers to communicate more, just to let them know the challenges, just to let them know how the SEN students are suffering or facing currently, so that maybe they could have better accommodation in terms of homework, the amount, or they will set aside some kind of online intervention group to help them with the homework. So I think that's important. Yeah, Kevin.
Thank you. My turn. I think a very short suggestion may be helpful. Actually, it helps myself, is to try to go outside, go visit country parks, places that we've never been before. Taking our children, our students, if possible, of course, if safe, to actually learn from the outside world, because we cannot actually stay at home for too long for the sake of learning, because we can't actually learn everything. We can't actually carry over what we learn to everyday living by staying at home only. So whenever it's safe, I think it's very good for parents, for teachers, for ourselves, and also for our students, youngsters, to have a balanced well-being. If we can cultivate our well-being better, I think it's easier for us to adapt to challenges that we are going to face, even if situation gets worse in future. So a very short suggestion is to try to go outside and feel the clean air, the cleaner water, and also the sunshine whenever we have a chance. I think students would definitely catch up later in their learning. We have to accept the situation we're having now. This is something that we cannot change. So what we can change is our inner self and how we can adapt ourselves to the outside environment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So very nice ideas. I see that all your innovations are talking about, say, online technologies, and then how could make the system workable at home. So, and this is a good trend, be honest, because right now online learning is quite normal, and then people's parents and even children that get familiar with that operations. Yeah. So talking about those three inventions by you, so the most difficulties for most of the innovations and inventions are talking about commercializations. So my last question to all of you is, do you have any planning on how to commercialize your product to the market? So Dr. Anna, it's a tough question.
It is possible, and I welcome any commercial partner, and I hope someone is watching this webcast. And I'll be available for live chat later this afternoon.
Yeah, I think the trend is to be commercialized for the product, not for like really profit making. But then if you got money and if you make it commercialized, the thing will get improved, because you are going to reinvent different kind of things with investment. So I think that's a good trend, and of course I do hope there is a different kind of partnership, going on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I hope Mapit A won't need to be commercialized, because to commercialize a product, that means we have to ask the recipients to spend money. So I hope the software will become popular. So I'm actually willing to have the platform offered to train professionals who are skillful enough to administer the test, so that we can actually popularize this type of assessment tool across the regions where we have Mandarin and in future Cantonese speaking population. And of course, if we have some seed money or research grant money, for example, we receive a very good amount of money from the Knowledge Transfer Sub-Office to help us to develop the Mapit A software into a more into a clinical version, so that we can actually use the new version in hospitals, and maybe in future also in schools, so that we don't need to limit the application of this software based on whether the user is going to pay or not. So hopefully this is the way that we can work together. And maybe in return, if they can actually get us their test data, so that we can continue to refine the tool, and also to have more normative data to support future users, that would be a wonderful collaboration.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I had that experience to commercialize the shop system to the market, and not only in Hong Kong, but also Taiwan, Macau, and even mainland China. And I would say partnership is quite important, no matter what your product is. Yeah, because partnership would bring you channels, bring you their partners on how to enrich the products, and then how to spread the message to the market. So I hope that one day we can be a partner of you. So thank you very much. And I think today I have learned a lot from this session, and I sincerely wish all of you would be very successful in the future commercializations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Frankie, and our speaker for the captivating discussion on the topic. Moving on, we will start the second panel discussion. The topic for this session is Technologies for New Ways of Learning. it is my great pleasure to introduce our moderator, Mr. Perkins Ho. Perkins is the Senior Educate BD Manager of Amazon Web Services. This session will also be joined by 3 panelists, Professor Yuan Yao Yun of the Department of Science and Environmental Studies, Dr. Song Yanzi of the Department of Mathematics and Information Technology, and Professor Wu Ji-keng of the Department of Asian and Policy Studies. Perkins, you have the floor.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. My name is Perkins Ho from Amazon Web Services. It is my great honor to be invited today to moderate this session because I also worked in the Knowledge Transfer Office of another university for a few years before. And I love working with researchers because they always come up with new evidence-based ideas and they always inspire me a lot. And particularly in this session, it is about technologies for new ways of learning. In AWS, we are actually not just about providing the cloud infrastructure, not just about the technologies. We're also about enabling innovations across different domains through more than 200 services in AI, machine learning, AR, VR, and robotics, etc. And 2 of the programs that I'm trying to take advantage of this event here today to talk about, because 2 of the programs that I'm taking care of in Hong Kong should fit this discussion very well today. The first one is the EdUHK program, which provides free credits and course materials for teaching and learning about different cloud technologies for both students with or without technical backgrounds. And another program is on entrepreneurship. This scheme actually helps researchers and students to bring their ideas into commercial products. So we're definitely looking for new projects to support to enable new ways of learning. So okay, now back to the event today. We have 3 very honorable panelists here today with 4 projects. I will let each of you talk about your projects for around 5 minutes each on each project. And to start off, as you know, during the past year, we have turned a lot of lectures online. But how to turn lab experiments online remains a mystery. Professor Yang has a great idea to address a very painful issue in doing online experiment with hydrometer. Professor Yang, please.
Okay, thank you, Perkins. Okay, I'm Yang. Okay, and the co-winner of my invention is Miss Nathan Liu, who is also my former research project student. Okay, and this invention actually came from her research project when she is trying to measure the physical properties of different petroleum products, and the traditional hydrometer just failed to do so. And people in that field need to use some very clumsy method, that is, to put the petroleum product into a container of known volume and measure its mass or weight, and then do the simple division and get the value for the density of that particular petroleum product. Okay, and so we want to solve this problem. Okay, make it easier. And also during the pandemic, students cannot come together or use the apparatus to do the hands-on activity. So how can we do it? Okay, and so we have in fact a much bigger project on development of online experiment. So for this setup is quite simple. We have a force sensor to measure the weight of a glass ball. Which is now immersed into the second layer of the or some 3 layers of solution or liquid. We want to measure the density of that particular solution. When there are multi layers of solution or liquid formed. Because of different density. And we have on the left hand side, the setup, which is just an Arduino board with the LAN shield or something like this, very simple. The whole setup just costs around $100. $100. And people can, or students can do the experiment. Through the internet. Just use a simple browser to do it. And of course, they need. There's an IP camera to show the real picture of the result. And here is a results for our conduction of the measurement, okay, of some sample over 8 hours. So we can do the measurement automatically. And found it have a very high accuracy of just a 0.05% error. And it can be applied not only in teaching, okay, in other fields like the petroleum or food or wine industry. People need to measure the density of the product or automobile battery. And for a bigger picture, okay, I would like to show you how this could be integrated with the online experiment, and then that has been published in the Times Higher Education campus. So there's a video to watch. Now we are ready to play the video, okay, so that you can see our
Hi,
other
I'm
experiment.
Y Yuan. This is Mandy Zhang. In this video, we are going to introduce our remote laboratory. Let's have a quick tour of our remote lab, which is a place to develop and house some remote controlled or online experiments. As you can see, each experimental setup is quite compact and contained within a box with a microcontroller for internet communication. Besides, there's an IP camera to deliver its visual output. The experiments could be about chemistry, such as petroleum chemistry, chemical equilibrium, isothermic reaction, and oxidation, or about biological processes like fermentation in winemaking and the respiration of plants under different colors of light, or about physics and technology, such as lighting technology, electrical circuits, optics, like reflection and polarization of light, and environmental science, like the generation of landfill gas for a month or longer. A learner can use any computer or mobile device to control the experiments and get the output at a remote place.
And for the design or the new concept of this approach, which is very low cost, okay, and you can visit the website given here, has.eduhk.hk/OE. Okay, so that's all for my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor Jan, for the great presentation. Now I will turn to Dr. Song to talk about her two projects. I personally love the vocab goal a lot. I think it is a great idea of using AR and VR, and I hope it is released soon so my son can play with it. So Dr. Song, please.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. I'm Song Yanjie from Department of Mathematics and Information Technology. I'd like to thank you to provide the opportunities for me to share the two projects. I'd also like to thank the Knowledge Transfer Office for their great effort in promoting the projects. Now, let's come to the first project, Orchestrate, a mobile learning app for collaborative science inquiry. The app aims to scaffold both teachers and students to conduct collaborative science inquiry in a mobile learning environment more effectively, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. And this is the features of this app. So now let's take a look at the video produced by the Knowledge Transfer Office. Thank you. Good afternoon. Today, I'd like to introduce the app Orchestrate we developed in our project. And this app is a mobile learning solution to teacher orchestration in collaborative science inquiry. This page shows the students' current and past projects. This page shows student dashboard, current project, group information, and the 5 collaborative inquiry phases. The current project is Living Things in the Eco Garden. Now, let's go through the 5 collaborative inquiry phases using the project of Living Things in the Eco Garden in the Orchestrate app. The first phase is We Engage. In this phase, the teacher provides resources about living things in the eco-garden to activate students' prior knowledge about living things. After students review the resources, they work in groups to brainstorm what they know about the topic using the collaborative mind map. Afterwards, group members discuss what they want to learn about the topic and raise their inquiry questions here. They can also discuss the questions in the chat room. Here is their discussion in the chat room. The questions can be viewed horizontally. After raising the inquiry questions, students move to the next phase, we collect. Group members start dividing tasks to each member. There are 3 task completion status: pending, in progress, and completed. Collected data can be in text, image, video format, and can be viewed by dragging the block here vertically. Group members can modify their task completion status and modify their work division here. After completing the data collection, students move to We Analyze phase. They can click the button of Analyze Test to highlight the test for annotation. The students can make picture annotation here. Students can make video annotation here. Finally, spreadsheet data analysis results can be presented in diagrams. After the data analysis, students move to We Explain phase. The entire collaborative inquiry learning process can be presented using a slideshow. The slides can be the data collected in the app, the notes in the app, and updated data from other sources. Finally, in We Reflect phase, students can reflect on what they know and what they want to know about the topic before conducting the inquiry, and reflect on what they have learned after the inquiry. The Orchestrate app, it is the first app to be used on iPad, can help students develop problem solving and inquiry skills and improve their science conceptual understanding. The app can guide the teachers to design and orchestrate collaborative science inquiry learning activities in a mobile learning environment. Okay, so now let's move on to the second project, WCAPGO. WCAPGO is an app for collaborative learning. And WCAPGO is an app for for vocabulary learning, and it has 4 modes. First is Find mode that can help students to review and consolidate vocabulary they learned within the curriculum. And also, it has the Go mode. The Go mode helps students to review the vocabulary through location-based learning tasks. And the Explore mode provides opportunities for learners to explore new words beyond the curriculum. And the last mode is Challenge mode. The learners can, this part can support students' evaluation of their learning through computer-generated quizzes. Certainly, there are other functions such as map collection and learning community. So now, let's come to the video clip for details. Thank you.
so.
Thank you. That's the end of the presentation.
Wow, this is a really cool app, isn't it? I'm going to have some follow-up question later on for you, Dr. Song. But last but not least, I turn to Professor Wu. Let's see how Professor Wu is addressing problems with team-based projects, especially in dealing with free riders. Professor Wu, please.
Thank you. I'm C.K. Wu from the Department of Asian and Public Policy Studies. The genesis for AWIS, which stands for Online Assessment System of Individual Scores in a Team Project Setting, is that, well, I received student complaints about free ridership. And at that time, that was about 5 years ago, there was no well-established mechanism to resolve free ridership. So what happened was that the whole team of 5 members got a B+ for the project. And yet, one person did not do anything, 0. Absolutely 0. So the other 4 members came to me and complained. I looked through the university's rules and regulations. There's not really a well-established mechanism to resolve a student complaint of free ridership. As a result, so I developed AWIS based on the following criteria. First, you should preempt or discourage free riding upfront. Second, should free riding occur, you should also provide accurate and fair scoring, reflective of each member's contribution to a project's completion. And the third criteria is more related to whether the system is actually usable, so that you should be relatively easy to use. A complicated system would discourage its adoption by teachers and students. Now, having done all that, what happened? With the support of a teaching development grant, AWIS was launched about 4 years ago. So what's the bottom line here? First, it was implemented by about, 40 teachers at around 10 universities in North America, India, Hong Kong, and China. The number of students involved is about 2,000. Number of courses, about 40, or ranging from business to engineering. So what's the bottom line? No student complain about unfair grading. All teachers endorse the use of OASIS to generate fair and transparent scores for team members of a given project. Finally, well, the university management should be happy because those scores can withstand third-party review and verification. And that's very important, at least for the, let's say, Hong Kong Polytechnic University. When a student complaint of free ridership reached the office of the president, you make headline news that a university doesn't want. So to sum it all up, does OASIS work? The answer is yes. Will it be used by other universities and teachers going forward? I believe so. And that concludes my presentation.
Okay, thank you, Professor Wu. So now turn to the some panel question section. I do have question for each of the projects. So let me see. Let me start off with say Professor Young. I can see that there is a lot of advantage in adopting this hydrometer in school teaching. Is there any other lab equipment that you would like to modify now or to reform or better fit school teaching use too? Do you have any plan on that?
Yes. In fact, I'm having a project, okay, for quite a number of years to develop a multifunctional data logger, okay, which is a very low cost that would be affordable for every student to have one device to conduct their own experiment, okay, especially during this pandemic period, okay, they could not go to the laboratory to share the equipment with other students because to avoid the infection, okay. And for that data logger, it could be connected to many different sensors, that is to measure different physical parameters, not only the temperature, air pressure, humidity, but also say the PM 2.5, carbon dioxide concentration, etc. So they can think of their own experiment, okay, and make use of the device to do a lot of measurement, okay. So that's the direction or something that we have been doing over the past few years, okay. And the digital hydrometer is just one piece of them, okay. But it happens to be very special. Okay.
Okay, so you actually have a lot of like in the pipelines already.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, that's really cool because I do see like there's a real need for that to do online experiment, especially you said we all can see that when students cannot go to the lab themselves during this pandemic last year. And okay, now turn to Dr. Song. I really love your applications because I can see that you put a lot of efforts in developing the applications in both Orchestrate and for CapGo. So did you come across any technical difficulties, and when you develop them, how do you solve them? Did you hire your own technical team because they look really commercial grade products?
And thank you very much for the question. Yes, developing the app, these two apps are not easy, especially Orchestrate. Orchestrate has a lot of features embedded in it. And at the very beginning, we did the web-based learning platform. And we found that there are a lot of difficulties in uploading pictures or audio files, etc. So we quit that web-based learning platform and started developing an app. And I think designing an app, there are two things that are very important. First thing is about the design, how to design this app that can help students and helps the students learn and can guide the teachers in designing their lessons. Well, another thing is the technical part. Just now you mentioned finding a good technician who has some awareness of educational teaching and learning knowledge will be much better in designing the app. Well, designing an app, the most difficult thing, I think, is to develop the functions for collaborative mind mapping and also the chat room in that app. And we actually we sought help from a company to help with the chat room design. And certainly for designing an app is not easy. And there are also a lot of bugs. Well, while using it, we have to address those. Anyway, I think I better stop here.
Okay, I actually have another question for Cap Echo, because from the video, the app itself looks quite ready. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, I think my son can use it to learn English. Do you have any plan to bring it to the market, or do you need our help?
That's a very good question. The app, yes, it is ready already. We've already started a pilot study in a primary school for the virtual go mode function.
I see.
And it is, this app is an augmented reality app. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, we know that it's not easy for students to perform location-based learning tasks physically. Thus, we designed a virtual location-based task for children to review and consolidate the vocabulary. And the story is like this. The teacher taught the students the new words of various fruits online, because now the students cannot the class cannot be conducted in class.
Right.
So online learning, we know that technology is not a panacea for education. It brought a lot of convenience for us, but it also caused a lot of emotional and social problems. So the children, actually, they are not quite engaged in the learning activity. Thus, we planned a virtual go mode, and we designed a few markets with the market in the fruits are put in different markets with different colors. For example, yellow fruit are put in the market in the yellow area, and purple fruit are put in a purple area. So the children can review those vocabulary by visiting different areas virtually based on that virtual location. So it is quite fun. And through this experience, certainly we also found some difficulties using this app, and we would like to promote the function of this app and then scale up the practice. Actually, we already had a few schools contact me. We would like to scale up the practice by contacting those previous collaborative schools, by presenting in different workshops for teachers, or by colleagues' help who are interested in this app. As for whether we are going to commercialize this app, I think it will be great if we can got more data from the use of this app and make it quite mature, and it can really help the teacher and students learn more effectively. After that, I think we can consider commercialize it, but my purpose is not to commercialize. My main purpose for developing this app is to help motivate the children to learn. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for your sharing. So my question is now go to Professor Wu. I really wish that your system could be in place when I was in college 20 years ago. When I was in a programming class, a lot of people were spending nights and days doing debugging, but some people just like go to play or whatever. So when you were you were actually trying to tackle a very challenging problem. Can you share what was your biggest challenge when you developed OASIS?
Well, the principle underlying OASIS actually is not that difficult because it is quite well established in project management and human resources management, as well as in actually law and economics. The biggest challenge is to make the system easy to use and also robust so that it is generally applicable to various courses. I mean, one can imagine how to score individual contribution in an economics course vis-a-vis, let's say, a physics course. That can be quite different because of the topics covered and all that. So the first step was how to generalize it, to create a beta version. And after that, then I need to put in place. And that requires some IT skills that I do not have. So I seek help. I mean, because for example, you start out as a Excel spreadsheet base. Then later we found out that there has all kinds of problems. So now, we changed that to a Python base. Thereafter, the biggest challenge ultimately is how to convince a teacher how to use it. After several university visits, for better or worse, we found out that, hey, a lot of teachers, they already use their own existing system. And try to break into that market was challenging. And nevertheless, we managed, to recruit quite a lot of teachers, and the feedback, has been positive. So how are we going to use all those user testimonials to further market OASIS? Well, it's something that I will work with my collaborators in the coming years. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks for the sharing. So now I have some questions open for the panelists to discuss. Let's see. So the COVID-19 pandemic has definitely affected us in every aspect since last year. And without doubt, it is also a catalyst for us to adopt to new normal, let's say the technologies in teaching and learning. And see that many of the inventions are trying to address those issues. So what are the education sector's reaction or perceptions towards technological solutions? And I mean, in general, the question is, how prepared are they, do you think, especially in Hong Kong? So let's see who wants to address this question first.
Let me try first. Okay. I think that whatever kind of technology that could be used, or applied in teaching and learning, the first most important thing is to engage students, in the teaching and learning activity and embed the proper pedagogy or teaching methods, for that particular topic or subject, for science or STEM subject, we need to have the students' hands-on activity, okay, not just only theory, okay. But for mathematics, okay, it may be problem solving or something like this. So we need to think about the nature, okay, and the teaching methods for that particular subject or topics, okay, when we engage technology, okay. So this is a fundamental principle when we design so-called the technology-enhanced learning and tasks for the student to work on, okay.
But do you think the education sector is ready for these kind of changes?
Well, I think the people, engineer or those working in the technology field, they're very smart, okay. They look at something very new or innovative in the solution, but often they let the mind about how the student learn, okay, the education theory, and how the teacher, okay, how the student to learn, okay, that's something they let on. So that's why I want to engage in the use of technology, write the computer program every line, okay, not only the web page, but also the system, the apps, everything, because I know about what the student, how they learn, what the difficulty will be. So I put into those elements into the computer code so they can learn more effectively, okay. Of course, my design may not be very great, okay, or so present, okay, but that could be left to the those technology or computer scientists, programmer to work on. But the main thing is to embed the proper pedagogy or teaching method into the technology first. That's my approach. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I would like to add the following point. There's the technology development and innovations that can solve many complicated problems. Case in point is like this: prevalence of free ridership in team projects. So there's the solution on one hand, and then there's the actually adoption and acceptance. So ignoring the customer preferences is definitely a formula for failure. You can have all the wonderful technological innovation and solution, but if they do not directly address what customers want, forget about it. So I think, using OASIS as an example, we were at the development stage. Actually, we engaged a bunch of teachers and say, what do you need? What do you want? What do you ultimately would think that will consider as a success? And with that in mind, you can't go backwards now and go back to the engineering solution and modify it.
I quite agree with Professor Yan and Professor Wu's ideas. And to me, I think designing the app, the most important thing is that whether this app or learning platform can help students learn across different settings. That's important, especially after this COVID-19 pandemic. We found that we need to design the platform that is quite flexible, and we can help students learn anytime, anywhere. And also, another thing is important, that is to document the students' learning trails. By documenting students' learning trails, we can use AI technology to predict students' learning behaviors and analyze students' behaviors and make pedagogical decision-making just in time. And also, I think in the future, for the technology development, developing adaptive learning system for personalized learning, as well as intelligent tutoring systems, these are very important in the future. Thank you.
I think I totally agree with you all. I mean, I think I think this panelist here is way advanced than most of the many of the researchers I have encountered before, because you're really thinking we're talking about addressing the end customers' real pain point, the real needs of the customers. That is what the teachers really need and what the students really needs are. So you also brought up a very realistic issue. So you as an educator, you know that's something that should really work after conducting your research and after doing some survey with educators, etc. And now you want to use some technology to address those questions. So, but there's always a gap from ideation to the product. So how do you think the industry partners or the school or the knowledge transfer office in EDU can help you in this regard? What do you think?
I think it is great to have a collaboration between educators and industrial partners. And for those educators, they can let those technical people in the industrials design the learning systems from the teaching and learning perspective. That's by doing so, you can know the needs of the teachers and the students. And then when you design those learning systems, it can cater for their needs. I think that's important to combine, or we can say combine AI and educational technology and teaching and learning together. It will be the best solution in the future.
Okay.
Thank you.
Totally agree. Okay.
Yeah, just like, I just want to make a quick point. So when developing, OASIS, I look at some of the assessment methods available in the market. One is free, one is subscription-based. So having let's say a competitive or even superior product does not necessarily lead to revenue. So like how to monetize OASIS in a commercial setting remains a big challenge. I still don't know where the money can come from. So something to be to be resolved later.
Yeah. Definitely agree. I mean, I totally agree with you because as I mentioned, one of the programs that we're trying to do is helping researchers and students to commercialize their products. And this is there's no straightforward answer to this question. Yeah, so at this moment, since you all have some prototype builds already and your inventions have got so many awards, if there's one thing that you like the most from the school or from the knowledge transfer office, what do you like the most? Money, mentorship, or industry connection, or whatever it is? Just one thing from each of you. Let's see.
For me, industry connection. Okay.
Industry connection, because you have money already?
No, but I think that's more important than money.
Okay, cool.
For me, mentorship. Mentorship is mostly important.
Okay.
For me, it's like, well, support in marketing. The way I look at it, more users, once you have a big, customer base, we'll figure out how to make money out of it.
Okay, so I think the staff from Knowledge Transfer Office should hear your voice today. And so you can definitely talk to them. I know the staff there. And it's a great session today. I mean, thank you for all the participation. I personally have learned a lot too. So I wish you all the great success in the future. And again, should you need any industry help from say AWS, feel free to contact me afterwards. So I'll pass the session back to, yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Perkins, and our speakers for this insightful session. For the last panel discussion of this webinar, I would like to welcome Mr. Ronald Zhe, who is a technopreneur, to be our moderator for this session. This panel will be centered around the topic, Inventions for Healthy Living.
Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Ronald C. So happy to connect with you guys today. So I start my career, I think that was like 12 years ago, as a technology consultant in Accenture, and subsequently I work in EY and IBM as well. So mostly of my job actually is to help organizations, especially the Fortune 500 clients, to improve their operations, to refine their strategy through the use of latest technology like AI, blockchain, robotics, and all kinds of technology, whether it's virtual technology or physical technology. We help them to think about what to do and how to execute that kind of technology implementation and innovation as well. However, back to 2 years ago, my team, actually myself, have some other thoughts think that how we always help people to improve their business outcomes, to drive profits through the use of technology. Is there any other things that we can do to be more impactful for the society? So we concur that actually the kids at the backyard will be something that we should take care of. And that's why actually my team and myself, we found a company like 2 years ago to drive the application of AI in educations. We put some products on the App Store to use emotion detection, eye tracking, etc., to help people improve presentations. We also working on a project to help people to detect autism through the use of AI as well. So I know that actually today we have 3 successful panelists who have been also working on technology from Education University of Hong Kong. So I think I've done my part for my introduction. On the panel, we got Dr. Hong, Dr. Zhang, and Dr. Zhao. May I pass the time back to the panel to give a quick introduction about themselves and the projects. First of all, may I have your introduction, please, Dr. Hong?
Hello, thank you, and hello everyone. It's my great pleasure to be here to share some of my experience for you all in relation to education, meditation, and technology. Yeah. So, should we start now? Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, in this morning I would like to bring one little robot to all of you, and then the robot have a name. We name it an interactive meditation mirror. The aims to introduce this robot is want to bring mindfulness meaningful and playful with technology. So I would like to go one more step. Okay, this is our friend. Actually, he's portable and can moving around. You can locate it in indoor space and even outdoor. And this robot, we have been spending almost 9 months to including design and manufacturing issue, and then 3D modeling, and afterward, eventually, we successfully. Here is it. And then now this robot is staying in our Education University campus, and it's portable and it's also involve experiential design. Okay, here, I want to cut it short. The most important issue for this robot, I would like to invite all different kinds of people, particularly the kids, and then the young generation. Hope them can experience and learning the meaning of mindfulness without any boundary. And the most important issue is we would like to bring awareness and mindfulness to the next generation. So the aims, simple, precise, and really want to focus, is we want to solve the problem with creativity, technology, and art, but also combining experiential learning and hopefully AI intelligence technology in the future. And what this mindfulness practice can bring us, okay, through interactivities, make it more interesting, and most important, even though they are robots, but all the experience, we try to make it more humanized, like their friends. Okay, this is my interaction together with this robot, some of the images, and by the same time, our research team and myself have made a really short video. If you don't mind, I would like to share with you, just take around 3 minutes. Yeah. Thank you.
Combining technology, video, and art, the portable interactive and meditation mirror is a creative device that makes the culture of contemplation and mindfulness interactive and interesting. Living in one of the most stressful cities in the world, Hong Kong people of different ages are under different degrees of stress, and they also have different physical and psychological symptoms. In recent years, due to the social and learning environment, more and more Hong Kong students have developed different levels of emotional problems. Therefore, it is very important to teach students how to confront and relieve stress and courageously face challenges in life. Dr. Hong Kong has 10 years of experience in meditation and contemplation. He attempts to solve problems with creativity, technology, and art, combining experiential learning and artificial intelligence technology to make mindfulness practice more interactive, interesting, and humanized. The interactive computer software divides the mindfulness exercise into 3 stages. In the first stage of the challenge, participants will see a hazy and scattered image of themselves in the mirror's reflection. The mirror will encourage participants to try to keep themselves still for 3 minutes. Upon completion, the participants will get a gift from the mirror, which is a pure self-image. In the second stage, the participants can choose different moods and interact with the mirror. A group of disorganized texts is flying around the participants. If the participants stay still for 3 minutes, the scattered text will slowly interact with the body to become readable sentences. In the third stage, participants can choose split mirrors of different colors and proportions according to their own mood or emotions, and feel the relationship between their form and time through awareness.
Our research team hopes this interactive device can be extended to primary and secondary schools, ethnic minorities, and elderly to collect different opinions, build an electronic resource library, and analyze data with AI technology for future education and research purpose. At the same time, our research team also hopes this interactive installation can be promoted worldwide and developed into different languages, such as English, Mandarin, French, and German, etc., so as to provide appropriate mindfulness practice for young people from different places and integrate the mindfulness culture throughout Hong Kong and around the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope
Thank you,
all,
Dr. Hong.
Yeah, I hope you all can come to our education university to enjoy the connection with these mindfulness interactive mirrors. Okay.
Can't wait to discuss with you more in the next sessions. I think that is very good too, because when people talk about AI, we always use the mobile phones, but that is a very good intuitive object to connect people back to the technology through the use of another media. I think we should talk more in the next session. Thank you so much, Dr. Hong. And Dr. Chen, would you mind sharing with us about yourself and your projects in the next 5 minutes? Dr. Chen, please.
Okay. I'm Chris from Science and Environmental Studies Department. Today, I would like to share 2 ideas from my research team. One is about from waste to treatment. Another one is from waste to resources. Okay. For the first idea, actually, it is my PhD study. Maybe more than 15 years. We try to use a plant soil microorganism symbiotic system to treat the waters and air, polluted air, using physical absorption, chemical precipitation, and biochemical convention. And it is the laboratory scale experiment to indicate, to show our successful case using the waste for the treatment in air as well as water. And for the students teaching and learning activity in this university or my courses, or for a secondary school or primary school student, we try to
provide some materials for their selections. For example, this is pure cultures, and another one is the mixed culture. And we try to replace the commercial product using some waste material from garden waste, from composting plant, as well as power plants locally. And then this is for the water treatment, and then we use some simple wetland plant or some common plant found in southern China. For example, umbrella grass, and then provide some good landscape, and then using the material from power plants and wastewater treatment plant to provide a rapid and stable biofilm development. And this is the pilot scale study in southern China, agricultural university, and then successfully treat some domestic wastewater from the student hall. And then the full-scale application in this university. And based on our experience, as well as the research finding, we try to provide some teaching and learning tools or activities for secondary school, primary schools, as well as some public competitions, science competitions. Now we move on to the second concept, waste to resources. We try to reuse the waste residues from treatment process, different treatment process, to replace the active ingredients for the eco-construction material production. At the same time, reduce the waste quantity for further treatment and disposal. We try to optimize the mixing ratio to achieve the engineering performance, at the same time meet the environmental standard in Hong Kong or in other countries. And then luckily, we achieved a quite good performance to reuse the materials. We can replace up to 30% of the sand or aggregate by using waterworks sludge and 10% of sewage sludge. Okay. And at the same time, the leach of the pollutant is minimized, and the immobilization of the heavy metal can be achieved. And luckily, we got another knowledge transfer project funded by Water Supplies Department. And I'm thankful for my research team to conduct this experiment during this difficult period, because for the sludge collection is quite difficult. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Zhang. Personally, I was a graduate of civil and structural engineering. So what you have been showing me actually is quite inspiring, because from the point of view of a student, having a physical demonstration of how these things work actually would be more impactful. Actually, I wish to have that back to my secondary school. In the next 5 minutes, may Dr. Zhao give a quick introduction about yourself and your project. Dr. Zhao, please.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming to this webinar. I'm Zhou Di from the Faculty of Humanities. Just now, Dr. Hong mentioned the importance of emotions and mindfulness. And now I'd like to introduce our project and system, which is an AI-enhanced emotional recognition system, which uses automatic emotional recognition method based on deep learning technology and multimodal data sources. Let's watch a video together. Well, emotion affects diverse aspects of our daily life, including our decision making, our communication, creativity, and for learning, emotion affects students' comprehension, motivation, memorization, the use of learning strategies, problem solving, as well as their academic performance. So, factors that may influence students' emotions include their relationships, even weather, food, and color. So it's important for us to understand emotions. We need to know whether students are motivated or indifferent. Traditional approaches to emotion recognition include interviews and face-to-face interactions, but they're very time-consuming and have very low accuracy. The existing algorithms include the KNN algorithm, the long short-term memory neural network, the support vector machine, and the decision tree. However, they are also limited because they have low accuracy and have very single data resources. For our method, we use different devices to collect a wide range of data. So for example, we use Tobii eye tracker to collect students' eye data. We use microsensor Kinect to collect students' face data. And then we use a high computing server to conduct neural network models. We also ask students to label their emotions while doing learning tasks, watching videos, and playing games. So in this way, we could run and train our emotion recognition systems. We also conduct different data pre-processing. For example, this is EEG denoising. And this is eye correction, include blink correction, saccade correction, eye diameter correction, fluctuation correction. And we also conduct face correction, face data correction. So then we use a deep neural network. This is the basic convolutional neural network unit. This is to complete the CNN data and conduct the training. We have a wide range of data resources like EEG data, face data, and eye data. And then we use this data to conduct emotion recognition, which can recognize a total of 81 emotions with very, very high accuracy and is higher than the state of the art. So for the advantages of our emotional recognition system, first of all, it has very high accuracy. And then it has high flexibility, reliability, and can be generalize to recognize other types of emotions. This is a very good way to unlock the power of AI in education. So thank you very much. Hope you like our system.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zhou. So in the next couple of minutes, from my mind, actually, I have tons of questions. All these projects are very interesting. But I think due to constraints of time, I think I will be able to ask only one question for each of your project. First of all, Dr. Hong, I think that the project that you show actually is very inspiring. You bring actually technology to a physical space and get people back to our physical through the use of technology. But I could imagine that through the use of facial detection to detect the emotions, detect whether the participant will remain focused for 3 minutes, something like that, that involves intensive testing. How do you overcome all those challenges? And actually, what are the feedbacks from the participants so far you have received?
Oh, that is a really great question. And because we also foresee this as one of the most challenging issues for us, and then we try to solve this problem bit by bit. But the result at this moment is quite optimistic and quite encouraging, because we are not, I'd like to share with you is we are not start this project from zero, because before that, we have been doing some volunteer meditation and mindfulness training to the secondary school for almost 1 year. So somehow we foresee the reaction and then the change from the student, even though they are not doing meditation through technology, because we are training them or we are sharing our experience with them from the normal practice. And then we already foresee their change. And then their interests already enriched bit by bit. So this is I can say this is the result from our traditional training, enrich us to go this further one more step with technology. So this is one of our examples we'd like to share with you. And then another issue is about the technology-driven issue is we have been using these kinds of technology already, handling different kinds of cultural issues related to Chinese philosophy and also related to some kinds of psychological issue. So this is our first time to combine technology and mindfulness definitely together is our first time. But right now, you can see for our video demonstration, we invite some students and some kids already come to our school, have some kinds of demonstration. And then actually they don't feel strange at all. And then even though we prepare some kinds of user manual for the kid, and then once they switch on the computer and then looking at the mirror, and then they automatically, they know how to run it, and then they know how to play with it. So this is really encouraging stuff, yeah, encouraging stage for us. We hope in the future, according to your question, we would like to invite more kinds of expertise from different kinds of discipline. Maybe like from Dr. Chow, yeah, and then some. But we have already 2 psychologists in our team. They have to help to issue different kinds of measurement questionnaire for the kids. Yeah. And then in the future, I could like to have some kind. I could like to have. There's one word I always make use of. It is creative collaboration. Invite more expertise from different kinds of parties and institutions, and then we work together. And so this is our dream for our next step. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Hong. I hope actually this mirror, this physical object could be installed in more and more places to bring more benefits to a lot of children, so that to bring mindfulness to more people as well. Yeah. Yeah. My next question goes to Dr. Zhang. I think through the use of the water sludge to build eco-concrete blocks, I think that the benefits will be huge. But you also mentioned actually there's a huge cost to gather those water sludge. So do you think actually that we should go ahead to put this in a bigger scale? Is there any way that we could overcome that kind of challenge to reduce the cost of water sludge collection, so as to have the economic, to have environmental benefits more and more, not just in Hong Kong, for example, maybe Greater China as well, or in the world? Any next step plan from your mind?
For the sludge collection, is not the cost
problems is about the difficulty during the period, the COVID-19 period only. And then because in Hong Kong, we have 15 tons per day waterworks sludge will always disposed to landfills only, not incineration. But for sewage sludge, it's different from waterworks because they will pass to T Park in Tuen Mun for incineration. Therefore, we should collect the sludge ash for the construction of material production. But some technical problems in the T Park operation. They mix the pollutant from the air pollution control device with the sludge together, sludge ash together, therefore will reduce the concrete broad qualities. At the same time, we find the quality from waterworks, water treatment process, the sludge has higher quality, less pollutants. At the same time, stable supplies, very stable, instead of other waste material, for example, food waste or plastic waste. In addition, the color is quite unique. Just one color from water supplies departments. Therefore, why we shift to waterworks sludge to replace the sludge ash or sewage sludge. At the same time, we'll reduce the pre-treatment and the operation cost. Therefore, further reduce the production cost of the product. In addition, we try to add some combustion byproducts from power plant, local power plant, to reduce the amount of cement ratio, and then to reduce the cost, because the most expensive materials should be cement instead of the aggregate, because aggregate in Hong Kong will can be collected from recycling facility.
Okay, so do you have any plan to commercialize these new inventions?
Actually, one of the water supplies department would like to use this product in their visitor center, and some NGO would like to use the product for demonstration purpose, for educational purpose. And then a recycling plant, recycling company in Eco Park in Tuen Mun would like to explore the opportunity to use this concept to produce some concrete, eco-concrete, instead of eco-concrete block. Because the use of concrete, the amount should be more than the block at this moment. Okay.
Yeah, just a personal note here. I think in the area of civil engineering, a lot of end product is very far-fetched. Building a bridge, building a high-rise is something that students can really touch. And the whole life cycle of such infrastructure is huge as well. But having a concrete block or having a piece of concrete, it would give a really good sense of satisfaction for the children. They could actually try to combine these materials and to turn into something very useful. I think that would be very interesting learning point for the students. Thanks so much, Dr. Zheng, for such an invention. Yeah. And my last question goes to Dr. Zhou. I think you just gave us a very interesting demonstration of how we apply AI to detect emotions. And I know that actually in the market, when we talk about emotion analysis, we just use video images as one data point. But your invention involved the EEG as well as eye tracking. I think that is a very good idea by having more data points. So what would be the next step for the application on this in the education? Because I think there's much more powerful way to have a highest accuracy of emotion detections.
Thank you very much for the question. It's a very good question, and we, as a project team, we discussed about our plan a lot. And right now, we don't plan to conduct a large-scale implementation of this AI-enhanced education because we don't think it's ready now. Our starting point is to use this system to help students. But right now, because of the ethical issues and the privacy concerns of students, their parents, schools, and teachers, we think we will not kind of investigate a single students individually to see whether they pay attention to the teachers or whether they are motivated or not. Instead, we want to consider a whole class as a complete unit. Try to see as a whole class whether the students feel that the teacher is teaching something they are interested in or whether the topic is appropriate for their learning right now. I think it's more appropriate for us to do it in this way at this stage. But of course, in the long term, we hope that we can really apply this system in a larger scale so as to better help students and teachers as well as schools to identify students with potential emotional problems and then better help them because like Dr. Han mentioned, lots of students have great pressure and maybe we are not able to recognize it at the early stage and help them better. So this is what we want to do. But we want to do it in a safe way, make sure that the students, parents, and teachers feel happy about it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think let's move on for a general panel discussions. Actually, we'd like to pick from your minds. I know that actually, we all know that actually technology has already been a part of education revolutions in the past many years. From the days of paper-based approach through the use of iPad, and then moving on to the age of AI and latest physical technologies, IoT, etc. So in your mind, what would be the blueprint in the next 5 or 10 years that how technology would be changing the way our people learn, our offsprings, our next generations, how they learn will be changed by technologies? In your mind, because I think in all of your professional aspects, you have been already starting to use technology. In the next 5 or 10 years, what do you see, what will you envision would be how our offspring will use technology to change the way they learn?
Okay, maybe I go first.
Thank you.
Actually, I'm not a dreamer, yeah, but I try to be practical. But it's a really good question. I think right now, from my observation, the student, even ourselves, is quite multitasking. But we are only dealing with one single screen, yeah, like our iPhone, our TV monitor. And I predict in the future, according to our multitasking talent and then practice, in the future, if there is something like a multiple screen will be invented. Yeah, right now I heard about there's already our mobile phone can flip into two sides. And then I hope in the future, once we get into these multitasking activities and experience, the social media and then the platform we encounter no longer one single screen. That might be interesting. So when you have a class and then the student not only just focusing on one single screen, and then even when we are talking or sharing our idea and presenting, we are already using multiple screen for our storytelling method. So I think that might be changed in the future, yeah, for our next step, yeah.
That is very inspiring answer, because I think we know that people are actually fighting for attentions through the use of mobile device. When you step into the MTR transportation and actually, especially in COVID, I think the teachers, the educators are fighting for the attention from the students. from the TV screen, from their mobile device, apart from the desktop. So I think maybe education innovation in the way, in the UI, in the user experience of those learning tools will be very important to fight for the attention in all these multi-screens. Yeah, and actually the point that you mentioned, I actually heard about a very new concept called joy attention. So in the classroom setting, there will be like a mobile device or some other online device being held by the students, but there is also a projector. There is a concept about joy attention, so that how we leverage these tools together to create a better user experience for the students. I think that's something that education innovators could think about as well. And I just a little bit would like to pick your brains to share more about actually what is the drive for you to push the projects that you just share here? Why do you think actually you want to have make a change by your projects in the field of education? We'd like to understand what is your drive.
May I try first? As a environmental engineer and researcher focusing on experiment in laboratory, I would like to say practice makes perfect. And then therefore why I try to integrate the hands-on experience, hands-on activities in different teaching and learning activities for different levels, and then try to provide or embed the concept we call design and make process, as well as the engineering design process, to help the student to solve the real problem instead of just learn the knowledge. And then it is my idea for teaching and learning activities.
Well, I think our purpose of using educational technology and AI in education is to create more opportunities for students, and as well as equal educational opportunities. Because right now there are lots of personalized language learning systems or personalized learning systems and AI-assisted agents which could interact with the students. You know, in the past, teachers have to communicate with every single student, give feedback, for example, and help them for their learning. But right now, all of these can be done by AI or personalized learning systems, intelligent learning systems, as well as smart learning environments. All of these can reduce the burden of teacher and provide personalized suggestions, comments, as well as plans for students' learning. So in this way, we can give more equal opportunities for students to learn and enhance our education quality. So I think for the future, maybe AI in education would be a very good trend for us to work and to create better and high quality education for every single student.
Yeah, actually, I would like to echo what Dr. Zhao and Dr. Chen said just now, especially in the field of engineering. Practice makes perfect, and a lot of STEM education requires some repetitive calculation, repetitive learning, you know, to drive the learning outcomes. And AI definitely can help on this, because in the old days, due to a lack of resources, not all the children can receive the same level of attentions, but the AI could be helping. It's already helping in the financial service, in the insurance, in the banking, etc. It's already helping. I think the next step for education to adopt AI is very sense making. Actually, it's something that we can resist already, because the world is changing. I think in the States, in North Europe, people are already deploying the AI technology to improve their education already. Yeah. And my last question here will be actually to seek your view. What recommendation do you provide to other educators, to other researchers, in order to apply technology to drive innovation in education? based on your experience, there must be some pains, there must be some advice, anything that you want to share here?
As I mentioned, I'm a practical researcher in laboratory. In my opinion, novelty is the first priority. And then we try our best to obtain or get some quality data to provide some evidence to improve our technologies to solve the real problem in the society as well as in the educational sector. This is my idea for the innovation.
Okay, I think I would suggest that we all start from our classrooms to observe the students' needs and preferences. Based on what they need, we can have better motivation or better drive to solve those problems. So for example, I'm an English teacher, so I noticed that my students feel vocabulary learning is boring, and they always forget what they have learned 1 week ago. So we developed a personalized vocabulary learning system. And this system could recommend different learning tasks based on students' preferences and interests. So for example, for the boys, we recommend sports news. For the girls, we recommend some fashion news. And then students will be more motivated to learn. And this is another application of AI in education. Like I said, I think starting from students' problems, we have good motivation. And we, in addition to doing research or projects, you can solve some real-life problems and really help students. Thank you.
Also, I would like to share, and then I've been facing all the failed cases throughout my research experience. But no matter how, I have some inspiration I would like to share with you. Yes, first of all, try to invite as more as young generation as our working partner as possible. That's really important. And then the young generation, they driven energy, creativities, and then they can execute things really precise. And I always enjoyable working with them. So this is one of my little tips. And another tips is I always feel stuck in my research activities. Once I stuck, then I just call some expertise from the real industry. Yeah. So connecting the people from industry and then inviting young generation and as our team members, and then afterward, let's see what will happen next. Yeah, but that is my little experience. I'd like to share with you all.
Yeah, from my point of view, I think that what Dr. Zhao and Dr. Hong said actually is a people-centric approach. And I think the students, our offsprings, they are the hope of our human races in the future. So I think that is the best approach. And in the commercial world, we call it voice of customer analysis. But it seems that actually in the field of education, I never heard such a term before. Yeah, but I think as a people-centric approach and having the idea of voice of customer analysis will help us to drive the best outcomes forward for the quality of education, because at the end, the end users of this are students. I think that's pretty much that we have covered today. That is a very good sharing. And personally, I really learned a lot from all the success from your projects. And I hope all the participants here will feel the same. And hopefully our future will have some more interesting technologies to learn, to improve the educations. And at the same time, the educators could have fun as well through the use of these technologies. Thank you so much for joining today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ronald, Dr. Hong, Dr. Zhang, and Dr. Zhao. That concludes the morning webinar session. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed the program and have had a great time. The webinar session will be available at our on-demand platform later. Please join our virtual exhibition this afternoon and learn more about EdUHK's award-winning innovations. It would be nice to meet interesting people through this platform and spark up great conversations. Our webinar session will also be held at 2 p.m. If you are interested in exploring further collaboration opportunities with EdUHK, be sure not to miss out the afternoon session. Stay tuned and see you in the afternoon. Welcome back to the EdUHK Award Winning Innovations Salon 2020. In this session, our speaker, Mr. Lemon Kwan, Manager of the Knowledge Transfer Sub-Office, will be talking about collaboration opportunities with EdUHK. Before we start, we will have a Q&A for this section. You may raise your questions by simply scanning the QR code, which is shown on the screen. We will attend to the questions shortly. Without further ado, let's welcome Lemon to start his sharing.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. After listening to our academics and researchers' presentation this morning, I believe you got a lot of insights or maybe interested in about how to collaborate with them. And so this session, I will shortly introduce the method, the most, or any support from our office to facilitate your collaboration with the EdUHK communities. And first is just a short introduction about EdUHK in case some external people who are not really familiar or don't have a clear idea about who are there in EdUHK. We have 3 faculties here in the university, including a liberal arts and social science, and the faculty for education and human development, and the faculty of humanities. Total, there are 16 academic departments, 70 research centers, and there are over 500 academic or research staff here, and 400 research projects are being ongoing, which the research funding amount total is over 200 million Hong Kong dollars. So in terms of some keywords or figures, what we are doing here in the university, mainly we do education research, we do have some technologies research and social science research, and we have some humanity research, of course, about some arts or language. So some of the research are overlapped, so we created some strategic area of our expertise. And if you want to collaborate with EdU, probably many external parties have the problem. Who you should contact? Our answer is you should contact us. We are the Knowledge Transfer Sub-Office of the university. Our key role is, to make it simple as one sentence, is connect you and the suitable people in the university. And we have 2 sides. On one hand, on the internal side, we have a pool of innovation and expertise of the university. On the other hand, we are the window to bring this innovation to you. No matter you are from the industry, schools, government units, NGOs, or you are an investor, you want to know more about the collaboration opportunity or any projects that are being progressed in the university, or you have a problem, you want to find an expert to help you to solve the problem, you can simply approach us and we will link you up with the right people in the university. Given the area of expertise or area of research, we have The knowledge transfer activity in EdUHK have 3 strategic areas. One of them is about education technology. We heard a lot of them in this morning. And we also have education innovation and social innovation projects. This project may not be technology-based, but there are some innovation and create some new method to improve the education or to tackle some social issues in our community. And if you want to collaborate with us, what can you do? Apart from the area, in terms of area, I just mentioned it, but in terms of the modes of collaboration, we can traditionally we would divide into several, this list of activities, such as we provide professional training for the external parties, no matter you are a school educator, NGO, or a corporate. We will provide necessary professional trainings. And we organize conference, and we also co-organize conference with external parties. And another kind of collaboration is forming kind of partnership project or contract research. That means the university will do some research for a particular purpose, which would serve the list of you. And furthermore, we will have commercialization of our R&D outcomes. That means we did some R&D, such as the innovation you heard this morning. If you are interested in implement them in your company or your organization, we can go into a agreement of licensing so that we will license you the rights to use our innovations. So in terms of knowledge transfer, there's a lot of levels. The entry level is between the collaboration, not between university and community. The first and the most common mode of collaboration is we provide training to students, and the student graduates, they become a employer or the labor force in the community. So they will contribute to different organizations and company with their knowledge learned from the university. And the second level is consultants and collaborative research. That means the university will join hands with the community, company, NGOs, and external parties to develop some projects or achieve something together. And to an upper level is when after we have the research outcome or we invent something, we will do the licensing to allow the external party to use the knowledge or the technology or the invention we worked out in the university. After the licensing, of course, the external party, the licensee will make the knowledge as an application available in the business world or available as a service in our daily life. And to provide more information or more explanation about some particular mode of collaboration, one of them is, one of the common mode is a consultancy project or contract research project. That means companies or NGOs or an external party will pay university for solve a certain problem. The outcome should be guaranteed by the university because the company will pay for a service or pay for a research. And given this condition, the companies will also own 100% of the intellectual property rights to use or to own the research outcome or the project outcomes. And this will help the companies to avoid having their own R&D teams, which will cost a heavy investment amount, especially on we can eliminate the company's cost on hiring expertise and buying equipment. And this is a common mode of collaboration between outsider and the university. Another mode is similar to consultants and contract research, but it's about collaborative research or some partnership project. The difference is the company or the external party do not fully pay the project. They will usually collaborate, join hand with the university to apply external funding or we will share the project cost so that the project outcome is also shared. And for this kind of collaborative research, usually it will take longer time than my consultants, so the solution may not be immediately available, and it's suitable for some more complex problems. But as it is a research for experience something unknown, the deliverables may not be guaranteed, and as the costs are shared among both parties, or maybe funded by the project may be funded by an external funding, so the intellectual property rights will also be shared. And about IP licensing is about, as mentioned, it is about an external party. The licensee will pay the university for the rights to use our invention and innovations. All IPs being licensed should be readily available, because we can't license something that is unknown to a third party. And for the benefits of the licensee is, of course, it will eliminate your development costs, because the invention is already developed by the university. And the fees for having the certain product or the service will also depends on your performance, because the university will usually charge the licensee the licensing fee or the related royalty depends on some performance indicator of the business or the venture, which may be usually the common terms will be maybe the royalty will depends on your sales volume or some profits you make or the number of which you achieved. So these kind of things would be some performance indicator. Of course, if you perform better, the university will charge you more, and this is a fair deal, I think. And so after talking about the mode of collaboration, what kind of support you can get from the university when you want to join a collaboration? Our office, the knowledge transfer sub-office, or in general, the KTO of university will help the facilitate the partnership between external party and the university. But what do we do? Typically, we do IP development, IP protection, IP promotion, IP licensing, and extra. But what all this means? Actually, all this means matching. We do matching. We match you, match the external parties, your problem with our expertise or our internal resources. So in a typical mode of university on technology transfer, usually university develop the technology, and the industry find the technology interesting with market potential. They will adopt the technology from the university and combine it to create a new technology-driven innovation. But is it the single model among the university in doing knowledge transfer or collaboration with outsiders? This is not the case, especially in universities that are not technology-driven, such as on this table it shows some top-ranking universities in education in Asia. EDU is the third one, but among the top 20 in Asia, we find that only 17 out of them are with faculty member, with scholar or researcher in technology background. And only 7 of them claim that they have a focus on developing new technology. And only half of them have a postgrad degree program in EdTech, and six of them have a UG program, and only 5 of them emphasize technology or EdTech development as their strategic area of research. So the mentioned model may not be applied in this kind of university, including EDU. But what does it mean? Is it bad that does it mean that we have low way to collaborate? The answer is definitely low, because from those figures, what we are told is on the best side, technology and educator are quite far apart from each other. But on the good side is there is still a lot of collaboration opportunity. between the external party and the university to develop some EdTech solutions. Our mode will be a bit different with the typical technology transfer mode of many universities around the world. Instead of we have the available technology in the university, usually what we have in the university is the knowledge about education or the knowledge about the market lead. That means the market means in the educational setting, what the student, what the teacher, what the schools need. And from the industry, there are lots of people, lots of companies doing some technology. Some technology solutions are available there, but they need to combine with a education application. So there's a space for us to collaborate with each other. You provide the expertise knowledge about the market or the list in the education, and some industry provide the technology, and we combine both together to create a application-driven innovation. For example, this example is Edu develop a formula to calculate calculate the performance of students in Hong Kong with special education needs. A technology startup in the market is creating a cloud computing system for NGOs. So the company was interested in adopting our formula so that they can create an online performance assessment system for children. This is a kind of collaboration between Edu and the external parties in the way that the external party provide the technology, and we provide and provide some insight or the knowledge on the education side, so we combine each other to create an EdTech solution. Another meaning of collaboration between Edu Education University and the outside community is we add education value to some available technological product in the market. For example, a company approached us to create a health education kit for their health care vending machine for schools, because they want to put the vending machine in schools campus to sell some products. But as they want to enter the education market, they want it to be educational. So we created some education material for them to show on the vending machine, and it will become a EdTech product. It is only an example of a lot of similar things. And if you have this kind of planning, you have a technology product, you want to enter the education market, you can come to us and we will think for you how we can add education value to your product. And this is a kind of collaboration we are looking forward. And for every project, the first thing is idea, and the second thing is funding. Where can you find the funding to support your projects apart from the money from your own pockets? And there's a lot of funding available for universities to apply from the Hong Kong government. Some of them are only for university projects, but many other of them are for collaborative projects between external party and university, such as the FBL, the Better Living Fund from the Innovation and Technology Bureau, and Scholar, the Language Fund by Standard Committee on Language, and the Innovation and Technology Fund, and with also about the Health and Medication Research Fund. These projects, this kind of funding, are all welcome proposals of collaborative projects between university and external parties. Internally, our office also provides support on KT and applied research projects. In depth, some of them are for internal projects only, but we start to have some projects that would involve external partner in our funding schemes proposal. Such as the fourth one is about the Fund for Innovation, Technology, and Social Wellbeing. This is a new funding will launch shortly. And this funding will support applied research project for tackling social innovation problem. In each of the project, the proposal should include a community partner. So one aim is to encourage researchers in the university to do some research to improve the community, to solve some problem in the society. But on the other hand, we want to launch this scheme to encourage the collaboration between university and community partners. So this proposal is not only university-driven, but any community partner, company have an idea, and they want to have a collaboration with you to co-develop something. This FIT scheme will also available there for support their projects. And okay, this is supposed further information about the mentioned funding scheme. I do not go into details. And what others we've mentioned about the mode of collaboration and some funding available to support the collaboration projects. And what other kind of support we have from our university, from our office would be provided to the collaborative project. Just you learned this morning, our innovation have participated in some competition around the world. So our university and our office will also provide marketing opportunity, marketing support for this project, even for collaborative projects, and we will also help them to promote it in the global setting. We'll bring them to some invention exhibitions, to bid for some awards. And invention exhibition is not the only way we do marketing. We also attend some trade fair, business conference, and other kind of business matching opportunity. And we will, on behalf of the university, our office will have the support for the projects that we will do the presentation on behalf of the projects, and we will bring them to the business markets to promote them, to raise their awareness for try to bid for some investment or partner for further collaboration. So this is the kind of support we will provide to the projects. And I think I will end my talk shortly here. And as I mentioned, you are not alone when you want to collaborate with EdUHK. We will have different kind of support, no matter whether you have the idea about in what way you want to collaborate, work with the university. You can just simply approach us, and then we will find out the right way to help you to work out the problem. And thank you very much, and we look forward to receive your question on the online platform by simply scanning the QR code, and you can leave your question here. I think there's already some questions. Okay, let's see. Someone wants us to share some successful cases between the university, between the collaboration between university and outsider. And I think there is many successful, because we have closed several cases of licensing every year, start from 2 to 3 years ago. There's some companies is already making use of our innovations in their business, such as we have education language education games for kindergarten kids, which is already licensed to a local company who is selling the product in the market. And apart from that, we also can mention some collaboration potentials, such as this is a project mentioned by Dr. Hong Kwan this morning. He's doing a portable interactive meditation mirror. The product is not yet commercialized, but this is really readily available. So this can be used as an end product or as a social service available in the community centers or in schools for medication training for students. And this is kind of collaboration potential you can see from today's salon. And more questions are coming. If I'm not an educator, can I still collaborate with EdUHK? Of course you can, because we want to encourage interdisciplinary collaboration. University, in EdUHK, we have a lot of collaborators. We have a lot of educators. So if you are a technology company, as mentioned, you are welcome to find us, and we would like to work with you to develop some technological solutions that can improve the teaching and learning in Hong Kong or in a global settings. Can a startup company collaborate with EdUHK? Of course, we are welcome, no matter in what kind of stage of business are you in, or even you are not in the business sector. You are a NGO, you are a school, or you are a charity body. We are welcome to collaborate with you, no matter how. We are open for any kind of collaboration, such as we collaborated with a charity body. We license our innovation for them to carry out their innovation education program in some primary schools in Hong Kong. So our collaboration is not only one-to-one, add you to a company or add you to an NGO or add you to an organization, but we also have the collaboration including the EDU, a charity, and the primary schools, so that we create an ecosystem of innovation and collaboration among our next generation. Okay, overseas company, of course we welcome overseas collaboration, no matter we are from Hong Kong or from the Greater Bay Area or from European market. We also received some inquiry from Japan. They want to work with us on some music projects, and that's also interesting. And we are working on this area. We also received some inquiry from Australia about to carry out some education-related research and compare the difference between the situation or the schools in Hong Kong and Australia, and whether some new model they're using in Australia, we are doing some research to whether that kind of model is also applicable in Hong Kong. Okay, this is interesting. Is VIP licensing practicable? Yes, we do not have a standardized tab for each innovation of EdUHK. The price or the package of licensing fee, royalty, all are negotiable. It depends on the nature of your business or your nature of your organization. If you are for charity or for pure educational use, we can have a very reasonable licensing fee. Okay, someone asks. This is common question. Many colleagues in EDU also ask our office whether we can provide legal advice. Our office do not have a legal expertise, but we will provide some advice, but we cannot claim them as legal advice. And we'll provide some advice from the general understanding of related laws and regulations, such as the licensing or the IP patent registration. We can provide some professional advice, but we cannot claim them as legal advice. Okay. Can individual person collaborate with EdUHK instead of a company? And as we mentioned, we are open for any kind of collaboration, no matter you are a company, an organization, an NGO, or individual, or expertise in any kind of area, we are open for them. Okay, what kind of project related to knowledge transfer are you working on currently? What kind of project? As I mentioned, knowledge transfer is always about collaboration, partnership. Of course, we are doing a lot of collaboration. This kind of projects is to how to form partnership research or kind of collaboration between university and outside to make our knowledge or make our innovation available in the market or in the community. No matter what kind of project or what kind of idea you are having in your mind, if it is with the aim of creating something new as a service or as a product in the market or in the community, we are welcome to work with you to see whether we can co-create something together to bring new value to the market and to the education sector. I think I've covered most of the questions you raised. No matter if you have any idea, you have any questions about working together with EdUHK, or you want to know any projects in the university, you are welcome to approach us, and we would like to talk into each of you in more details to learn about your business, to learn about your operation, and see what we can work out together. Okay, I think we will end our session here. Thank you very much for your coming and attending the salon today. Thank you very much.
Thank you for participating in today's webinar. All webinar sessions will be available at our on-demand platform. In the meantime, please take this opportunity to mingle with our innovators to learn more. We look forward to seeing you again next year. Have a great weekend ahead.